Hey guys! So, we're in our frozen treats, enjoying that warm summertime weather and thinking about what delicious thing we could eat. And one of the things I love the most, even though it's so simple, is a soft serve ice cream cone. So, we're going to work on making it today. There are places where it's a little tricky because you've got these folds, almost kind of crenulated to make its surface. So, be patient with yourself. We're going to get the general shape first, and then we'll start making it look like it's got that star nozzle. Okay, now obviously taller than it is wide, though I'd love it if it was both wide and tall. So we're going to start with our cone down here. The first thing I'm going to do is come from about the middle of the paper, and I'm going to make a cone with a rounded tip. Now from here, I'm going to curve around a little bit, just like I would if I was making a real cone, and I'd finish out that circle. Now, because that's going to be covered up, we're not going to worry about it. We're going to make this a little bit bigger, line-wise, and then we're going to go up and out, up and out. And now we're going to come and curve down and around. So remember, these two curves are parallel to each other to the best of your ability. Now, I'm going to divide that space up so it looks a little bit more like my drawing. And then I'm going to come and add a little piece right here. And how many little sections you create is up to you. I think I'm good with that. And as I come and do the lines of where the waffle iron would have twisted around, I'm going to remember I need to curve as I'm going because this is a rounded surface. Now you could make it where they crisscross. That's up to you. I'm going to stick with this right now. Okay, now from here, I need to get the large areas that the ice cream is going to be in. So there's really 4 tiers. I'm going to curve out a little bit wider than the cone, out a little bit, almost like a pair of parentheses. And then I'm going to let that curve that's giving me the information fall forward. Kind of looks like a hot dog now, or a clown smile. All right, the next one, we're going to let the left side be a little bit taller than the right. Curve and curve. And we are coming in slightly from the edges. All right, now in this one, my third one, this right side is going to be a little bit thicker. So I'm going to curve, dip down, and then curve back in. That looks a little bit like a cashew. All right, now we're going to make that top where it flips over. So I'm going to come up and curl, up, and then I'm going to touch right here, and I'm going to curve it out. So that's where we're seeing through, but it's arching over. Okay, now let's go in and get the places where we have the folds in the ice cream because it uses a star nozzle to pump it out. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so it's a little bit easier for you to see. All right, sometimes it helps to make these lines a little bit lighter. You don't want to lose them entirely, but I'm going to make them lighter so that I'm not as confused when I go to draw my actual lines. So for this first one, I'm going to curve in, and then I'm going to make that a separate little section that curves in. I'm going to go over and curve down, and then I'm going to bend and zigzag right there. Add a little half line. Then I'm going to come and I'm going to go bend and up and curve out. Right here, I'm going to dip it down slowly, then come back up, then dip it out slowly. Now I'm going to come in and add where this point is coming, kind of a little dashed line. And then right here, where we've gone up at the bottom, I'm going to come and curve back in. All right, and now right here, I'm going to curve across and in. And I can even add one little line right there. Okay, so now you have your first layer. It doesn't look like a lot yet, but it'll get there. All right, to make the first part of the second layer, we're going to go up and in. Then we're going to do a second line, up and in. Very good. Okay. Come down below this line and V in. Okay. Now here's their next V. And you are going to come and add a line that connects back up to the top. Then we're going to come down and come to a point. And then out, in, out, in. And we're going to reverse that up here. In, out, in. Okay. Now we're going to come and V this part up and curve it around and down. So it's making almost like a pea pod, but it's separated right there in the middle. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to make a separated pea pod. This one's going to be a little bit thicker than my last one. Okay. Now I'm going to come and get this side. So I'm going to curve up and in. And then I'll get a little V here and a little V here. Okay. Now we're just left with the top. So we're going to come up and let it arch over and arch over. And we're going to give it a little partial line right there and a little partial line right there. It will help me as I'm going in and doing this. If this is all where I need it to be before I start. So make sure you've got kind of an edge for your ice cream. And since it is overlapping the cone, we're going to start there. Now you don't have to go in the same order as you built it. And remember, it is ice cream, so being smooth and sinuous is helpful in this case. So I like to let the lines lead me where they're going so that I start to get a smooth curve. I do not separate it out with thin and thick just because this is a little bit of a tangle right now and it makes it more difficult if I do that. Here we go. Okay. You'll notice a couple places I've broken the line a little bit more and added a dash or a dot. And that's up to you. That's really a taste thing. Kind of like if you prefer vanilla over chocolate or if you like it to be strawberry. It's just a taste thing. Okay. I'm going to come down and get my cone. Don't forget that your cone is a three-dimensional shape, so it does need those rounded curves as it reaches the bottoms of places. Okay. Now I'm going to come around the bottom of the curve and back up. And then I am going to use my thin Sharpie for the detail right here. When it's in a waffle iron, instead of just being a line, it does protrude a little bit. So that actually has some width to it. And I'm going to go in and show that width. So everywhere that I made a line, I'm going in and doing a little bit above and a little bit below so that it creates a physical shape for me to work with. And then when I go in to add color, I can just make that a slightly different shade. And it will look like it's been pressed in the waffle iron. Okay, so guys, you have your soft serve ice cream cone. It was great to get to see you. I can't wait to see what flavor you're going to make. That'll be very interesting. Bye, guys.